filming '99 the following year, but word got back to him what a big deal Mick Foley and certain other people had made about Shark Boy at the show. So when that happened, you know, I was given an opportunity to come to Cleveland, Ohio for a dark match, tryout match, and signed a deal about a month after that, or 2 months after that.
Who did you wrestle on the dark match?
I teamed with Jerry Flynn, not Jerry Lynn, Jerry Flynn.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
Lightfoot.
Right?
Yeah.
And we wrestled a team called the Kingpins from Minnesota.
Okay. Who else was involved with that, the Power Rangers project they were talking about?
Several guys were signed all at once. Jamie Noble, Jimmy Yang, who now is one of the Japanese tag team
Mafia.
WWE.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the Yakuza team.
Yes.
But don't call them the Yakuza.
No, you can't use that. So Jimmy, Jamie, Jeremy Lopez, guy from Texas, trained by Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
Tony Mamaluke, guy named Jet Jaguar from Florida.
Okay.
It's a really good group of cruiserweights, and a couple of those guys went on to do some pretty big things after the fact.
And did they sign you to a developmental deal then?
It was a developmental deal, and we trained at the power plant Monday through Friday.
Or what was the train like?
Brutal.
Who were the trainers? Was Paul Orndorff?
Orndorff ran the facility. Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker did most of the actual putting us through our paces. So.
How were those guys?
I mean, it was tough. They took their job very seriously. And they felt like their job was to make sure we were, finely tuned athletes, ready for primetime television.
What did you think of the power plant? Do you think it was a good idea to have something like that, or?
I don't think it was a bad idea to have it. I think maybe my only criticism would be that they maybe focused too much on the actual cardio and the actual, calisthenics and exercises and things like that. Focused very hard on that, and maybe not so hard on the psychology and other aspects of professional wrestling. It was a different type of facility, though. They were really looking to churn out the best athletes they possibly could. And for somebody like me, who was always more of an entertainer than an athlete, it was a real challenge. But and there was, I'd be lying if I told you there weren't lots of mornings when I'd get up first thing in the morning and think, is this really what I want? Do I really want this that bad? Because it was just so hard. But I stuck it out. They had to kick me out. I didn't quit. They had to fire me.
How long were you there?
I was there. I trained at the power plant for 4 months, and I was under contract a total of 6 months.
How did like Orndorff and Sarge treat you?
I really didn't get to know Paul that well, honestly, but Sarge was great. I was around him a lot, and I mean, during work hours it was one thing, but then you'd catch him, during lunch or afterwards, and he was just the coolest guy. And I remember when I got released, he was one of the, I think probably the first phone call I got was from Sarge to see how I was doing.
Who else was there in the class? The same guys you just mentioned?
All those guys, all kinds of guys. Let's see. I don't even know where to start with the list.
How many guys were there total?
When I first got there was probably close to like 40 guys. And then by the time I got cut, it was down under 20, like in the teens somewhere.
What kind of hours was that class?
We start warming up at 9:30. We start stretching in the morning. And if we were lucky, we got out at 3:30. If something else, maybe the TV cameras were coming that day, we'd have to stay till 5 or something like that. I mean, every day was kind of different. But, some days we get out early, and other days we're there till 5.
And you started on WCW Saturday night around February of 2000?
Yeah.
And how was that? How did they put you on Saturday night?
Well, I got my release. I got my final paycheck at the end of January, and moved back to Ohio. I had moved my then fiance, her child, down to Atlanta with me, and she got pregnant right around the time that I lost my job. So it was time to pick up and move back to Ohio, where the family was and where the support system was. So that's what we did. And right when we got back to Ohio, I get a call from Paul saying that we're going to use you on the Saturday night show. And they were going to be sending me a plane ticket, you know. And now, instead of getting paid a weekly check, I was getting paid per show, per appearance.
Could you wrestle for other companies then?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah. Who was the booker for the Saturday night show?
The primary creative team was Jimmy Hart, very supportive of the Shark Boy character, Arn Anderson, Mike Graham.
How was he? How's Mike Graham? Cool guy?
You know, cool guy. He wasn't a big fan of the character, though, I don't think. More of an old school, traditional type guy, and I don't think he was a huge fan of Shark Boy, the character. Always got along with him personally, though. Always seemed like a nice guy.
Did you ever wrestle for Jimmy Hart's XWF?
I didn't. Never did.
Did they ever contact you about that?
I contacted them, but it you know, and it was always one of those situations where they said, yeah, somewhere down the line, and then there really wasn't much of a line. It went away.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately.
Did you ever try to get in like ECW then?
I did go at the time when Tommy Dreamer was sort of running things for Fall. I went and met with Tommy after I lost my WCW deal, and we had a mutual friend in Jim Mitchell, who sort of invited me to one of the shows. And I went and met with Tommy and gave him a tape, and again, it was just one of those things where ECW really wasn't around that much longer either. So.
Then you went to the WWA, the World Wrestling All-Stars?
Yeah.
How did you get into that? Who contacted who?
That actually was, again, through Chris Canyon, who's just been a great friend to me since I got into the industry. He's friends with Jeremy Borash. And I saw Jeremy at a social function at Chris's house. And he was somewhat familiar with the Shark Boy character, but, you know, wanted to know more, wanted to see a tape and that sort of thing. And so I was able to produce some footage for him and show him, you know, what it was about. He took a liking to it, and we also, you know, struck up a friendship, and he's a good friend of mine now, I think. And he sort of went to bat for me with Andrew McManus, who owns WWA, and got me put on the six-way elimination match in Las Vegas at their pay-per-view out there.
How was that?
Oh, it was great. Good time.
That was a good match. I remember
you.
watching that on pay-per-view.
Yeah, I was in the ring with you know, Nova,
Yeah.
AJ Styles, Chris Daniels, Low Key, and Tony Mamaluke. So, you know, it was 6 really great cruiserweight personalities, and everybody with their own unique style. And it was, you know, we were able to put it all together and I think deliver one of the best matches on the show, probably.
Who was booking the WWA at that time? Who was the creative guys?
Well, you know, it was Andrew's company. It's hard to say who.
How was Mr. McManus? How was he? He's like a concert promoter, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's worked with Kiss and some really big music guys. Well, it was good to me. I mean, you know, he not only put me on the Las Vegas show, he took me on tour in Europe with him, and I got to do the pay-per-view in Glasgow, Scotland, which was a big honor, big thrill.
Against Frankie Kazarian, right?
Right.
How was that?
That was really great. I feel like Frankie and I had one of the most solid matches on the show. A lot of people got a lot of feedback to that effect. So, anytime I have, you know, a good match or one of the better matches on a show, I'm thrilled. That's good enough for me.
How was